Good evening and welcome to the Talking Sport Wales podcast. My name is Jake. I am joined by Ricky and Josh. How are you boys doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. How about yourself?
I think you were both waiting for each other there, were you? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah. All good. Are you right, Rick? Or
Yeah, mate. Can't complain. Looking forward to your hosting as always.
it's going to be as bad as ever, mate. I can't wait to. Right, okay. So another busy week in the wrestling. We're on the road to WrestleMania, as they say, and some dramatic moments this week. We will go to Ricky first, to my right, even though you can't see he's on my right. But yeah, Ricky wanted to just explain about Ciampa and Walter match at Takeover in WrestleMania week.
Yeah, you are right, Jakey. I'm so looking forward to this one. It's great to have the UK title back on an NXT Takeover. It's been ages since we've seen it. Obviously, since the inception of NXT UK, and it's been happening on their takeovers. But it's been so long, obviously, due to the pandemic, since we've had a takeover in the UK. So it's lovely that they've managed to get them over there and on the card. And yeah, what you like about this? You know, Ciampa obviously similar kind of build to a Tyler Bate, and Josh will let you know. Me and him watched Bate and Walter in Takeover Cardiff, and it was a hell of a match. So I'm expecting a similar thing from them both on a fantastic NXT Takeover card for both nights. And this one, yeah, could really steal the show. Nothing not to like. Walter's been dominant since he's been in NXT, and then obviously Ciampa is, you know, one of the horsemen of the NXT brand, I would say. So it's going to be brilliant. I don't know which way it's going to go. I assume that Walter will probably retain, but at the end of the match, we may see old Thatcher show up, I expect, but hopefully after the match, so Jake can't moan about shenanigans. Yeah, I expect him to get involved either way, but yeah, I just think it's an amazing match that's been added to an already amazing card, and I think NXT last week was one of the best shows I've seen in a long while.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think, you know, it's to be honest, I completely forgot what title he had until you just mentioned it, because we've missed NXT UK for quite a while now due to the pandemic. So it'd be nice to get. Obviously, it's nice to see the title and Walter back on TV. But of course, hopefully, we'll see NXT UK back on TV very, very soon. If not in the next week. What's that?
Yeah, it's been on for a while now. They just haven't had any takeovers.
Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough. Never wrong with that then, really. But there we go then. So yeah, it is available. Thanks for clearing that up. It's just it is hard to find at the moment for me, anyway. So Josh, any thoughts on Walter versus Ciampa at Takeover?
Yeah, like Ricky was saying, we saw Walter versus Tyler Bate, and it was amazing. And I think if you've seen the Walter versus Dragunov match as well, I think it's probably going to be in a similar vein to that. Even though, you know, Ciampa's had his injury issues, he'll put himself through hell during the matches. So I think, you know, a slightly new look Ciampa, a sort of, you know, babyface Ciampa, obviously with Walter ripping off his like necklace and stamping on it and all that, and then absolutely battering him with Imperium. Yeah, I think it's going to be a brilliant match. I don't see Ciampa taking the title from him. I probably see Walter retaining, but yeah, it'd be an absolutely brilliant match up there with you know, the quality that he's had against, you know, Bate, Dragunov, Pete Dunne when he's initially taken the title. I don't think Walter's actually had a bad match for the NXT UK title since he's won it. So yeah, should be an amazing match. And like Ricky said, should be an amazing couple of days with a Takeover Stand and Deliver.
That's a fair point, Josh. So I had to mute myself there. So yeah, really looking forward to it at the great card and Stand and Deliver. Hopefully, it was said we'll have many more, including the Adam Cole match. I can't remember. Is it O'Reilly? I think it is. Is it Kyle O'Reilly? Or yeah, Kyle O'Reilly. Thank you. Which this week HBK actually turned up for whatever reason. So yeah, a stacked card. Let's go to Josh now, where we've seen the Celtic Warrior Sheamus tap out for the first time on WWE television. Maybe not in his career, but the first time on WWE. What do you think of that, Josh?
Yeah, I think that was a huge shock for most people. Because I think when you think about Sheamus, obviously he's been quite dominant during his run in WWE, but especially with some of the superstars that he's gone up against, the fact that he's never tapped out, I'd say, is pretty amazing. Especially considering if you remember the Best of 7 series with Cesaro, obviously he uses the sharpshooter, things like that, and you would have thought that at some point maybe Sheamus would have tapped out. But yeah, I think that's massive considering. I think probably Roman Reigns has never tapped out to officially lose a match. I think during his career, that's a massive stat there. I'm not sure John Cena ever has. I think John Cena's passed out, but I don't think he's ever tapped out. But yeah, that's a huge stat for somebody like Sheamus to, have not tapped out through his career. He was slightly jobbed out to Bobby Lashley, which I think, keeps Lashley strong. But the way Sheamus has been performing, it doesn't hurt him massively. And yeah, I'm just going to say, like, this week, I think he's probably going to have a match set up with Riddle for the United States title for Mania. And I'd absolutely love Sheamus to be taking that title. I think, the work he's done, especially since sort of, the turn of the year with McIntyre, when he's been his friend, then he's been his enemy, then they've had that trilogy of matches. I think, Sheamus has massively, shown everyone what he can do. And I think if you watch any of his Celtic Warrior workout stuff on YouTube, he just seems like the nicest guy and such a genuine guy who wants to help people out and elevate talent. But I think at the same time, he probably does deserve that W over Riddle. I don't think he's had the US title since maybe 2011, around then. And I think it'd be lovely to see him with some gold that isn't tag team gold. Obviously, he had a very successful partnership with Cesaro. But I don't think he's held a singles title since the end of 2014, when he obviously won the WWE title. So I'd love to see him with the US strap heading out of Mania, and I think he could have some amazing matches. If he stays heel, there's some amazing people that he can go up against. Then also, if he turns babyface again, there's loads and loads of feuds that he could have. And I think I'm maybe more excited to see them at the moment with his performances than maybe Riddle. And I think Riddle as a babyface, it'd be good for him to be chasing as well, and chasing someone he can actually have, matches where he doesn't appear like a complete loser like he did against Lashley a lot of the time. Or maybe it's the spark from Riddle heel turn, who knows? But yeah, I definitely like to see that match at Mania, and I'd have no issue with Sheamus taking that title off him.
Yeah, as agreed. Again, Sheamus has had a very career in WWE, as you could both agree. I think he had probably one of the best matches of his career against McIntyre at Fastlane, just gone. I thought it was very, very interesting match. And again, the Irish versus the Scottish. So, that's a very interesting concept, especially in rugby, as Ricky would agree. But unfortunately, there weren't any Welsh people there, Welsh wrestlers in WWE. Actually, no, there is one. I can't remember the name. Ricky might know, but I can't remember off the top of my head. What's that?
Talk about Tegan Knox.
Oh, okay. I can barely hear you, but yeah, okay.
Knox.
Mark Andrew, Flash Webster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of the UK brand. But
Sorry,
Mason Ryan, how amazing he was in the new Nexus.
Yeah, nobody talks about the Nexus anymore. So yeah, yeah, I can't remember where I was now. So yeah, just a point for me to continue this then. We've recently had the Hall of Fame 2021. As I said, the Great Khali, Kane. We've had a few others as well, but the most recent one is RVD with a very storied career thus far, and now pretty much deserves the Hall of Fame spot. I know there was a bit of a disagreement earlier on our little chat thing that we have, and whether Carly was deserving. But again, the guy's held, as Josh pointed out, he's held a world title. But as I said, Rob Van Dam, very very big star in the early days when he was in AJPW, across the independent scenes. Then made his notoriety in ECW, where he was the whole fucking show. So that was a bit of an interest. And then obviously you had went to the WWE, obviously WWE champion, Intercontinental champion. You name it, he's pretty much won it. Money in the Bank as well. I don't know if he's possibly won a Royal Rumble. I think he has, but I can't remember. No, he hasn't. Okay, fine enough. Ricky says no, so obviously not. And then finished off his career somewhat in Impact, I think it was. But yeah, he's probably still on the independent scene at the moment. So again, just a quick word from you, Josh, first. What are your thoughts on this in inclusion?
Yeah, I love RVD. I think he's a great wrestler. I think some of his matches, he was the first person to challenge Triple H for the World Heavyweight title when it came over from WCW. Obviously, going up against him, everyone remembers his performance in the first ever Elimination Chamber, Survivor Series 2002. His Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 22, and then obviously his match with John Cena at One Night Stand. I think he's been one of those superstars who's been plagued by his own personal issues to an extent. I think he won the WWE title and he basically threw it away by getting caught with Sabu in a vehicle with a load of illegal substances on them. So I think he could have done a hell of a lot more with that WWE title run. But I think he's had Intercontinental titles. He's been a great tag team wrestler. Like you say, he's gone around. He's done a lot in Impact. Most recently, just sort of getting off with his wife, who's about 30 years younger than him, in a jacuzzi. But he will always be a superstar, considering his age, considering what he's put his body through. He can still put some decent matches on. I'd love to see him come up, a Royal Rumble spot. Do a couple of taunts, do a frog splash. But I don't think I want to see him come back for a full time run. I think considering how he used to be, he wouldn't look so great in matches against people like Seth Rollins, Cesaro, things like that. They'd be able to carry it, but I think it's time to maybe walk away from in ring. But I think he's always been a great character. He's always been a great servant of wrestling. I think very well deserved spot in the Hall of Fame.
Ricky, just a quick note from you on that.
Quickie from Ricky, we were going to say that. Yeah, no. Well, the great Carly would say that, he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, of course. He's a great, Josh said it all, really. He's been fantastic servant to the wrestling industry, both ECW, WWE, and obviously in his Impact stints. But he's a great wrestler. Like Josh, I don't want to see him back in the ring full time. I think it's probably going to coincide maybe now, if he is in the Hall of Fame, with them putting that Icon show out that he's involved in. So I'll be interested to watch that as well, because I'm sure they'll have a lot of the stories that Josh mentioned there. So he's a great, he was a fantastic wrestler, obviously in the late 90s, early 2000s, especially when he first came from ECW and WWE. And like Josh said, just a shame he never had the career that he probably could have had he made some better decisions. But there's no doubt that some of the matches he's put on is ridiculous, and that Hall of Fame card is stacking up nicely.
I'm hoping that he does a backstage role in WWE. Maybe that'll get him a bit involved.
What are you going to trust him with?
I don't know. I hardcore talent. I don't know. Who knows? next thing on the list, then going back around for another point of the week, we will go to Josh, who would like to speak about the I say controversial, but some people would call it boring, other people would call it interesting, but it's definitely a feud between Miz and a bunny, a bad bunny, and especially near the Easter time. That's quite interesting. But anyway, Josh, carry on.
Yeah, you're right. Obviously, Bad Bunny turned up at the Royal Rumble and did his Booker T song. And yeah, he's sort of been around WWE since. He was obviously the 24/7 champion. And then R-Truth bought that off him on a 316 day for a Stone Cold Steve Austin lunchbox and Broken Skull title and all things like that. And I think, WWE have always brought celebrities in. AEW doing the exact same thing as well, with people like Shaq and things like that. I just think The Miz, considering sort of how far he came to winning the WWE title at Elimination Chamber, obviously dropped it, I think, only 8 days later. But to have that and be at the top of the card, the main event, things like that, to be basically put in a joke match where he is going to lose to a celebrity, because celebrities don't lose at WrestleMania. You look at Floyd Mayweather, you look at Mr. T, look at even Donald Trump back in WrestleMania 23. Celebrities don't lose at Mania. And I think, it's a massive shame, considering, The Miz is massively deserving of a WWE title. How he's been booked, he probably isn't, a believable or credible champion, without maybe the Money in the Bank contract, because of how strongly people like McIntyre and Lashley have been booked. But to see him go from WWE champion the month before Mania to in a singles match against someone who's not a wrestler, Bad Bunny hit him with a guitar and then ran up the ramp, and he looked absolutely knackered. I'm not saying that I'm in the peak of physical fitness, but I'd like to think I could hit someone with a guitar and run 15, 20 yards without looking like I'm gonna drop dead. And we don't really want a short match or too short a match, because that's just gonna job the Miz out, completely. I'd have much preferred a tag match with Damian Priest, getting him on the Mania card, and obviously John Morrison. But there's rumors going around that Morrison is injured. Maybe that's potentially why he's not in the match. But that's a huge, huge shame. I think it'd be a much, much better match with regards to Priest being there, Morrison being there, The Miz being there. There's going to be, shenanigans from the outside, 100%. We're probably going to see Priest hit a reckoning, whatever they've now called his finishing move, in order for Bad Bunny to probably do some kind of splash and win the match or whatever. But, I know WWE are a business and they want, celebrities and things like that on the show. But I think have him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal like they did at WrestleMania 35, those pointless people from Saturday Night Live, they're on the pre-show, they weren't really doing anything. Braun Strowman just killed them, end of. They're not taking a spot from another wrestler. Like if you look, someone like Bayley hasn't got a match on Mania yet. I know the rumors are potentially should be going up against Charlotte Flair. But as of now, Bad Bunny's got a match over someone like Bayley, someone who carried the entire SmackDown Women's division for over 380 days. They haven't got a match yet. Some singer who's not particularly good in my eyes has got a match. So, I think WWE are always going to have celebrity, but it's a massive shame for The Miz. It's a massive shame for Morrison if he is injured, and Damian Priest. And, probably quite a good payday for Bad Bunny, but, I don't see him sticking around much longer after Mania.
No, I agree. To be honest, I think that song by Bad Bunny was quite interesting. Even though I didn't understand a word of it, I needed to use Google Translate. And I'm hoping that his album comes out quite soon, because I will probably put it in the bin straight away. Ricky, what are your thoughts on this turn of events, this match at Mania?
Well, I would say, I know what Josh is saying, but I would say that Bad Bunny's guitar shot on The Miz was a lot better than The Miz's guitar shot on Bad Bunny. But yes, I'm not expecting massive things like Josh said from this match. Probably a filler type match, and just for WWE to try and get more of a demographic by having a hip hop star on there. What is more exciting, obviously, is the world premiere tonight of Hey Hey Hop Hop by MCMIZ and Johnny Drip Drip. I am looking forward to that. Is it anywhere near as good as the diss songs for Braun Strowman and the Usos and New Day back last year? But yeah, it's got exactly what it says in the tin. I think Josh said it all. You know, Priest is probably gonna come in. I think they call it hit the lights now, Josh. I think they've changed it to something ridiculous like that. But yeah, he's probably gonna hit that, and then as Josh said, Bad Bunny does some splash or something like that to pick up the win, or might even just cover him.
Yeah, definitely one to look at. There's apparently rumors that is it going to be Logan Paul might turn up at WrestleMania 37, but I don't know what the issue is with that. Could be just to try and get the extra viewer in or two. But yeah, going to be quite interesting and to see how AEW respond as well. With that, I know they've done Shaq previously, so yeah. On to Ricky's choice now, his last choice of important events this week. We're looking at a previous rivalry between two guys who were great friends, of course, in the stage of NXT and so forth. One doing a documentary at the moment and one just stunning everyone. Would you like to talk about Owens and Zayn?
I would, mate. Yeah, like I said, unlike you on the chat, who was completely negative about it because it was a repeat. I can't wait for it. Every time these two have a fight, whether it was just on Raw, whether it was on Main Event, or wherever it was on, it stole the show. Just their styles, because they're such good friends, because they fought so many times, obviously previous to WWE as well. Their styles are just fantastic together. They mix well. Just when they're punching each other, it looks amazing. Never mind when they're doing anything else. And I'm expecting it. I'm not sure which night it's on. It might be on night 2, I think. And if it is, it could easily steal the show. You know, we won't put it past Kevin Owens to jump off something else onto someone like he did last year to Rollins. Sami Zayn is very underrated. You know, based on since he's moved to the main roster anyway in NXT, he was unbelievable. And obviously as Generico, he was fantastic in Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't wait for this one. I think it's, like I say, a potential show stealer come WrestleMania, whichever night it's on. I hope, you know, when you mentioned Logan Paul, Jake, he's coming on SmackDown on Friday to see Sami's documentary. So I hope they don't have him involved in this match somehow, because it will ruin it, because they don't need to. We've got two fantastic athletes, two guys who just love the business and, you know, are going to put it all out there. They don't need some YouTube guy coming in and getting involved. And I know he's done a bit of boxing as well, so we don't want him hitting someone in the match. I don't want another Mike Tyson moment from Michaels and Austin, but, you know, him hitting Sami Zayn and Owens then stunning Zayn. I don't want any of that. I just want to see a classic match from two of the most underrated stars in WWE.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Josh, your thoughts on a potential instant classic, as JR would call it?
Yeah, I totally agree with Ricky. I think, you know, some of the stuff that they've done over the years, and obviously you were saying it's a repeat, but for me it's quite a fresh feud because they've switched roles. Obviously now Owens is the babyface, Zayn's the heel, and we've never seen that before in WWE. And obviously, as Ricky said, when he was at El Generico and, you know, Kevin Steen back in Ring of Honor, you know, some of the matches that they put on, you know, there's one particular ladder match I think that, you know, is basically like a match of the year candidate from, you know, way back when. But yeah, I think, you know, they're both brilliant workers. You know, Sami Zayn, everyone thought could only really be, you know, this underdog babyface, but he's one of the best sort of obnoxious, you know, annoying heels sort of out there. And, you know, I think Kevin Owens, he's going to jump off the pirate ship. That was his aim last year at Mania. That's why he jumped off, you know, the sign onto Rollins, because he said, I'm jumping off the pirate ship. Obviously, they're back there now. You know, how easy it's going to be for him to do that, I don't know. But I 100% think he's going to jump off the pirate ship onto Sami Zayn. I totally agree with you. I don't want Logan Paul anywhere near this. I don't want him at Mania. I don't want him, you know, anywhere near the match. You know, he could maybe do a little backstage segment in Mania where he's just at the back talking to Hulk Hogan or something. That's fine, but I don't want him anywhere near this match or any match, but especially this one. So yeah, very excited for the match. I think it'd be a great match, and like Ricky said, could definitely steal the show.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I'm coming from with it being repeats is that, you know, in my head, I've seen it before, but yeah, I agree that it's a new sort of persona change for both. And yeah, I think, you know, it's great that the rivalry can continue, and hopefully when the pandemic eases up a bit, we might see some returning stars back to action, which might make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I agree with you boys there. To be quite honest, should be a great match. So the last thing I just wanted to talk about before we head off today is just the amazing interview that Tony Schiavone did with Britt Baker on Wednesday night. Of course, you know, she did the whole heel thing, and I think a lot of what she says is true. She is she did, you know, she has carried the AEW women's division, no matter how small it's been over the past few years that it's started, and it's continued to grow. So yeah, I do agree with that. Also a bit of a jab at the legend Mick Foley. You know, she didn't take 20 years to get this far. I think that's quite funny. I think it's great because it's part of her heel persona, and it does work for me. And I think, to be honest, you know, that women's match between her and Rosa was probably, I would say, a close contender for match of the year, if not since AEW has started, to be honest. But I think I saw the tweet from Mick saying that stung a bit, and that was quite interesting as well on Twitter. So, but yeah, we'll see how things go. But yeah, very interesting, very interesting speech to give. What was your thoughts, Rick, on that?
Yeah, I think all three of us have said, haven't we, for a long time. She's definitely the face of the AEW women's division. I like the fact that people like Red Velvet and Jade Cargill have come in now and are starting to show what they can do. Obviously, Ty Conte as well is really starting to show what she can do in the ring. So yeah, I think she has been the face and will be the face, and we've said it. We hope that maybe at the next pay-per-view she picks up the belt from Shida. But yeah, she's just fantastic on the mic, and that's what you need. I think it was a good night for AEW promo-wise anyway. We had the bit back and forth between Kaz and Christian Cage, which was brilliant. Loved Omega going up into the Young Bucks and, you know, saying I could have gone to New York, referencing WWE, but I came here for you. I thought that was brilliant. I just think, yeah, as a whole, the promos on AEW really hit the mark this week, and yeah, I think Britt Baker, as we've said, is going to be a future women's champion and probably have that belt for a long time when she does.
Yeah, I think she would work. Yeah, great as a heel champion. You know, seen a lot of other women in other divisions do the same thing. But yeah, Josh, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. I'd love to see Britt Baker as the champion. I think, you know, she's good in the ring. She's solid in the ring. She plays a good character, and yeah, pretty much what you guys are saying. The AEW women's division is getting better, but you know, I think Baker may be a little bit more interesting with the title, just because we'll be able to see the baby faces go up against her, which we haven't really been able to see with Shida. And as you can see with Shida, they've started kind of recycling the feuds now. They're sort of, you know, going back to like the Nyla Rose sort of time, which was, you know, at the start of her title reign. And it'd be good to see, you know, some of the baby faces getting a go at the champ, but also seeing a champ that can really hold her own on the stick and, you know, give us good promos, you know, build storylines, build matches with Shida, doesn't really do as much. I think, due to her character obviously being sort of, a cool, calm, collected sort of babyface champion, letting her do the talking in the ring, but also potentially with, some of the language barriers as well. But no, I'd love to see Britt Baker as the champ, and hopefully, like Ricky says, the next pay-per-view will be when she picks it up.
I know that pay-per-view obviously Double or Nothing in May, so hopefully she will get the chance to pick that up. If not the next one at All Out, All In. I'm not too sure what the other one after that is. Who knows? Anyway, so that concludes the end of our podcast today. At Talking Sport Wales, Talking Sport Podcast Wales even. If you check out yesterday's podcast was our F1 podcast with me, Ricky, and Darren, Ricky's brother. So if you check that out on our YouTube channel and all our socials as well. And yeah, any questions that you have, any feedback, please let us know. Be happy to take that on board. So yeah, from me, from Ricky, and from Josh, I was going to say, so it's good. Goodbye from me, goodbye from Rick, and goodbye from Josh. I'll see you later, guys.
Cheers, Jake.